Hello everyone. Just 2 weeks ago on December 5th in the town of Edna, Texas, which is a small town between San Antonio and Houston, police would be dispatched to the Cottonwood Apartments for an unresponsive juvenile. Earlier that day, Jacqueline Medina would head to work with plans to watch her 16-year-old daughter, Lizbeth Medina, perform at the Christmas parade in town with her cheer team. However, when Jacqueline got off work and stood on the street waiting for her daughter's cheer team to pass, she realized that her daughter was not with them. Worried, Jacqueline would return home to their apartment to look for her daughter, and inside, Jacqueline would witness something that no mother should ever have to witness. Jacqueline would end up discovering her 16-year-old daughter in her pajamas and stabbed to death in their bathtub. Police would end up arriving around 7 p.m. and they would attempt to revive Lizbeth, but they were not successful, and she would eventually be pronounced dead at the scene. Jacqueline would say, and I quote, "Someone dared to go in and just rip my daughter away from me. It just kills me. I just want answers to why they would do this to an amazing little girl who would never hurt anyone, wouldn't dare to hurt anyone." End quote. In another post, Jacqueline would express how her daughter was brutally murdered in her own home and she wanted answers. Now, days would pass without any answers until police would release this bolo looking for a person of interest and a vehicle. A male suspect ended up being captured on surveillance wearing a black Velcom hooded sweatshirt and was also seen driving a 2010 to 2018 silver Ford Taurus. He was also said to possibly have a tattoo located behind his right ear, and from the photo, it looks like he's walking around shoeless but wearing one of his black socks on his hand. So that leads people to speculate whether maybe he injured himself, so he put his sock on his hand to hide or stop bleeding, or if maybe he was wearing his sock when he was using the murder weapon so that he wouldn't put fingerprints on the murder weapon, which in my opinion seems pretty deliberate and planned. And from the time of day that the surveillance video was taken from, which looked to be during daylight, and the fact that Lizbeth had been found in her pajamas still, it led to the conclusion that Lizbeth most likely had been murdered while she was getting ready for school on the morning of December 5th, which is just tragic that this bright young girl was just trying to go about her day and someone decided to take her life from her so brutally. Now, thankfully, just 4 days after the brutal discovery of Lizbeth, on December 9th, an arrest would finally be made. And this arrest was of 23-year-old Rafael Govia Romero, who was actually taken into custody in Schulenburg, Texas, by both the Edna Police and the Texas Rangers. But who is Rafael? Well, it turns out that he is actually an undocumented immigrant with an expired work visa who is completely unknown to the family. So this is a complete stranger to them. Officers would end up seizing both a vehicle and other evidence that is connected to Lizbeth's murder. However, none of those items or any information pertaining to that has been released. Rafael at this current time is being charged with capital murder, which essentially is killing someone while committing another crime, which I'm assuming in this case most likely would be breaking and entering, and then, that led to murder, or burglary, something like that leads to murder. In Texas, they essentially call that capital murder then. And he is currently being held on a $2 million bond. Now let's take a moment to talk about Lizbeth because she seemed like an amazing young woman. Lizbeth was described as a very happy, bubbly, and fun teenage girl. She was born and grew up in Grand Island, Nebraska to her mother Jacqueline when she was only 16 years old. And the two essentially grew up together over the years. They were extremely close. Now, Lizbeth and her mother ended up moving to Texas because her mother actually got a job offer to go there, and so with the job opportunity, they moved to Texas. And the two seemed to be thriving in their new town. They'd moved there about a year and a half prior, and they had really grown roots. Lizbeth had saved up and got her first car to go to work in, and she had made the cheer team. She also had many dreams and goals. She wanted to attend the University of Texas in Arlington in 2015 after she graduated. She was said to be compassionate, kind. She had so many friends, and she was very hardworking. Lizbeth both had dreams of being a nurse, and she had also recently completed training on how to do acrylic nails, and she was also saving up to take classes to do eyelash extensions. So not only did she have dreams of being a nurse, she also had dreams of opening up her own cosmetology business. So she was passionate about a lot of things, and this maniac, this evil person, for some reason or another, decided to take that all away from her. Now at this point, the family and everyone else do not have answers on why Rafael did this, what the motive was, why he would want to do this to her. Was this just a random attack? Was this planned? Was he stalking her? We don't know. We don't know any of the details at this moment, but Jacqueline actually had some very important words to share that I wanted to share with you all. And she said, and I quote, "I'm between I want to know and I don't want to know. I don't want to know what my baby was put through, but I need to know. I need to put it out there. And I need everyone to know that there are people like this that you need to speak to your kids about. Lock your doors. Don't open your doors. Get cameras. The importance of cameras. I want to make sure everybody takes care of their kids. I took so much care of my child, and yet a stranger walked into my house and did this." end quote. It's terrifying to think that you could try to do everything right and then something like this could just happen. And the cameras are actually a very important thing in this case, and that is why Jacqueline is so passionate about talking about the cameras, because they actually lived in a 100-unit building, yet there were 0 cameras in this building, which is just astonishing to me that any building or any community would have no cameras whatsoever. And if there had been cameras there, they might have more easily been able to connect the dots and maybe find Raphael faster. If we had a clear video of his face and we could have seen his movements, we could have had a lot more evidence. And I think he could have been arrested faster because he was at large for 4 days. He could have went and killed someone else in that time frame, especially if this was a random attack. So even if your building doesn't have cameras, possibly getting a Ring doorbell camera or just getting something so something can be captured and hopefully can lead to more evidence and hopefully capturing someone faster even. I think that's extremely important. And you're also able then to, see your own home and see what's going on around your home. And I think it's just very important to stay vigilant. Thankfully, there was surveillance that ended up capturing him wherever it was that it captured him that led to his arrest, but it could have probably happened faster if there was cameras on that building. Again, hopefully since this happened, there will be changes and they will put security cameras up, but this is a very tragic case. And as I said, this is all the information we have for now. If there is any other information that does come out, I will keep you all updated on it all. But my heart goes out to Jacqueline and all of their family. I could not imagine what she is going through, and I would not wish that on my worst enemy. So if you could all go spread love and kindness to Lizbeth's family, I'm sure they would appreciate it right now. It also seems like Jacqueline does want Lizbeth's story out there. She wants to spread the word, so possibly this can be prevented happening to another family. Again, at this point in time, we don't know how exactly all of this happened and how it could have been prevented, but always staying vigilant. As I always say at the end of the video, lock your windows, lock your doors, make sure all that stuff is secured. Don't just leave it open, like they used to do in the 80s, because things do happen. Bad things can happen. Don't open your doors to strangers. And that's the best we can do to try to, keep each other safe and keep ourselves safe. As always, if you have any other cases that you want me to cover, let me know down below. And I hope you all stay safe out there. Again, lock your windows and doors, and I hope to see you in the next video.